भयमृत्युनाशं धातारमीशं विविधौषधीनां धन्वन्तरिं रमानाथं सर्वरोगनिवारकम् आयुर्वेदप्रवक्तारं वन्दे पीयूषधायकं वन्दे पीयूषधायकं वन्दे पीयूषधायकम्. Namaste everyone. I am Dr. G. Harini Ramya, Ayurveda practitioner deputed by the Government of India to Malaysia. I am your presenter for the evening. This webinar is organized by the High Commission of India, Kuala Lumpur, as a part of the global celebration of 5th Ayurveda Day. In India, this year's theme is Ayurveda for COVID-19. Ayu means life and Veda means sacred knowledge. Thus, Ayurveda means sacred knowledge regarding life. Ayurveda Day is celebrated on the day of Dhanvantari Jayanti, a day before the festival of Deepavali. Dhanvantari Jayanti is the day of incarnation of Bhagavan Dhanvantari, who is the god of Ayurveda. He is the embodiment of all the knowledge related to health and happiness, diseases and their management. Therefore, Dhanvantari Jayanti is celebrated as Ayurveda Day. Keeping the time constraints in mind, I would like to give a short description about this event. In today's program, we have lined up 5 webinar lectures and 2 poster presentations on various interesting topics of Ayurveda by the eminent Ayurvedic practitioners of Malaysia. This will be followed by a short awareness video on the Ayurveda services available in the Malaysian government hospitals. We humbly request all the online participants to kindly key in their questions on health, disease prevention, Ayurvedic treatments, etc. in the chat box. We will have an interactive session for 15 minutes at the end. Now, may I have the privilege to request His Excellency Shri Mridul Kumar, the High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, to deliver his welcome address. His presence is a strong catalyst in unrolling the Ayurveda services in Malaysia. Welcome, sir.
I send my warm greeting from the High Commission of India. 5th Ayurveda. I welcome everyone on the 5th Ayurveda Day celebration. This day is celebrated on the occasion of Dhanvantari Jayanti Dhanteras on 13th July. I send my warm greeting from the High Commission of India to our Malaysian brothers and sisters, and also members of our community on the global celebration of Ayurveda Day as mandated by the Government of India, Department of Ayush. Friends, Malaysia has a very large local followers practicing yoga and Ayurveda. Our International Yoga Day celebration the past 3 years have been a huge success with almost 15,000 yoga enthusiasts attending our events spread all over Malaysia. Due to COVID-related restrictions, our celebrations this year has been contained the online format even for the Ayurveda Day. In the run-up to this day, our mission is organizing a lecture demonstration 3rd November on the subject COVID-19 and immunity, the Ayurvedic approach. This event is being organized in partnership with Ayurveda Center and will be conducted by a renowned Ved, Dr. C.D., who is the Chief Ayurvedic Physician at the center. We would also be organizing a webinar on 10th November on the celebration of these days in our Indian Cultural Center. I hope we would also be benefiting by the advice and experience on the benefit of Ayurveda for a happy and healthy living. Friends, as you are aware, Ayurveda therapy as an Indian medicine system has evolved over more than 2 millennia, and it is based on a very exhaustive compendium created by the father of Ayurveda, Vishnu. We are celebrating the Ayurveda Day to further promote and popularize Ayurveda as an important complementary therapy in the current medicine system. I again wish you all a very happy Ayurveda Day. I thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for your warm welcome address. Next, may I request Madam Dr. Go Cheng Soon, the Director of Traditional and Complementary Division of Ministry of Health Malaysia, to give an introduction to Ayurveda and Ayurveda Day 2020. Madam Go is an important bridge between
His
the governments of
Excellency Sri Ritu Kumar, High Commissioner of India.
Madam Go is an important bridge between the governments of Malaysia and India. As the head of TNCM division, she is making a very valuable contribution in promoting Ayurveda in Malaysia. We welcome you, Madam.
Excellency Sri Ritu Kumar, High Commissioner of India to Malaysia. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the High Commission of India, Dr. Harini Ramya, and the organizing committee for successfully organizing this webinar, which has been dedicated to the 5th Ayurveda Day on 13 November 2020. I am delighted to know that this is the first time the High Commissions of India celebrates the Ayurveda Day in Malaysia, even though it has been celebrated annually in India and other countries since 2016. It is Malaysia's honor to celebrate Ayurveda Day together with all Ayurvedic physicians throughout the world on this auspicious and meaningful day. On behalf of the Ministry of Health Malaysia, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the government of the Republic of India for their constant and continued support on the provisions of traditional Indian medicine services to the people of Malaysia. The deputed experts under the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation (ITEC) program have done an awesome job in delivering the Ayurveda services in the selected Ministry of Health hospitals in Malaysia, namely Potison Hospital and Cheras Rehabilitation Hospital. The public's response to the provisions of Ayurveda services was very encouraging, with a satisfaction rate of more than 90%. Ladies and gentlemen, in conjunction with the 5th Ayurveda Day celebrations in Malaysia, a series of activities have been organized virtually. Online learning has become the preferred mode, especially during this global pandemic period. I'm glad to learn that TNCM is also leveraging upon technology in professional engagement and development and not being left behind. I sincerely hope that more activities would be organized in the near future to benefit more people. To all online participants of this webinar, thank you for responding to the Ministry of Health's call. Stay at home and stay safe from COVID-19. The government of Malaysia has taken all positive steps to prevent and control the spread of COVID-19. At present, the management of COVID-19 by modern medical professionals in Malaysia is mainly based on the World Health Organization's guidelines. Although traditional and complementary medicines practitioners did not participate directly in the management of COVID-19, they play a significant role in being the change of infection. To end this, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all relevant parties and enjoy the webinar. Have a great day.
Madam, thank you for your introductory remarks on the event. Moving on to the first session of the webinar, I request Dr. C.D. Sibi, BAMS, to give his lecture on rheumatoid arthritis, Ayurvedic management.
Thank you.
One sec. A brief introduction about Dr. Sibi. By the C.D. Sibi, who was born and brought up in Kerala, India, is today the Chief Ayurvedic Physician at Ayur Center, SDN Bahad, in Petalingjaya, Selangor. As the President of Cancer Survival Center, Malaysia, Bahad, he has led and championed the causes within the organization for close to 10 years. In 2017, Vaidya Sibi co-authored a book with Anita Sundarraj, which was published by MPH Publishers. The book is called Knowledge of Life, Tales of an Ayurvedic Practitioner in Malaysia, and it features stories about some of the most common diseases among the Malaysians and dispels the myths surrounding this ancient medical system. Today, other than being a member of the Traditional and Complementary Medicine Council of the Ministry of Health in Malaysia, he has also been appointed as a member of the Malaysian Quality Accreditation Council of Government of Malaysia. He is most recently listed as one of the most successful people in Malaysia in a publication by the British Media Publication House. We welcome you, Dr. Sibi.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that kind of reading. And pranams to Sri Nirul Kumar and Dr. Go, the Director of Traditional Complementary Medicine. Today, the topic which I'm going to mention or going to explain is rheumatoid arthritis, the Ayurveda management. Rheumatoid arthritis is a condition which everybody knows that is a condition where you get pains, stiffness, inflammation, and it can also spread from one joint to the other joints, which I would say is more prevalent with women compared to men. Now, this is a disease which basically, if you take any country, there will be 1%, minimum 1% population, or maybe 1 to 2% population are suffering from this disease. When you look at rheumatoid arthritis, it's a condition, as far as modern system is concerned or conventional approach is concerned, it is an autoimmune disease, which means your own system will fight against your body. Imagine that you have an immune system which do not know how to protect you, and the immune system is recognizing something unhealthy or something which is a part of your body, and the immune system fight against you, which is a very difficult situation. But we believe in Ayurveda, even though this is categorized into an autoimmune disease, Ayurveda believe it's a toxins which the body doesn't want it. And these toxins are recognized by the system and it's trying to fight. But somehow the fight doesn't actually goes in a proper positive way. So the toxins will start completely invading the joint system and it degenerate. We have, for an example, any joint, for an example, if you take knee joint, we have a synovial fluid. This fluid is something which protects and gives more mobility for the joint. It protects the cartilage, it protects the bone, it protects the ligament, it protects the tendons, it protects the complete joint system. And that synovial fluid become thickened, and then it become a foreign body. And the body says, this is not something which is my part. And the body fights against it, and the synovial fluid become more harder, and your joint becomes stiffer and stiffer. And it basically, these toxins travel from one joint to other joints, and you get so much of inflammation, pain, and your life becomes really difficult. In Ayurveda, we call this disease Vata Rekta, or you can say Amavada, which means it contains two components. Vata is an air element, Rekta is a blood element. So, in the beginning, if you look at the pathogenesis or before the disease originates, it is the blood which actually recognizes the toxins or you can say the impurities are actually accumulating in the blood, which actually then disturb the humors of the body, which is vata, and then pitta and kapha. It can go like that. But here, the most influenced part of the body is vata. Or we call it Vadarekta because most of the, even the bones or the joint system contain more element of air space and the space element and air element. That's why we call it Vadarekta because Vada is involved and Rekta is involved. So look at it. If you know how these toxins are developed, and if you understand how this toxin can be prevented, or if you know that how the immune system can be protected, Vadarekta can be addressed in a very effective way. Now let us look into it. What is the most common the reason, or you can understand why do you get this? What are the most common reasons for getting arthritis? The first thing is actually given that you are actually having a lifestyle, or you're actually having a routine of your life which is not healthy for you. You are actually leading a life which is not healthy. What do you mean by leading a life which is not healthy? Maybe you are sleeping late, maybe you are waking up late, maybe you're not exercising, maybe you're not eating on time, maybe you're actually having a very too much of exercise, maybe you're not exercising. So if you have a healthy lifestyle, it can be prevented. And the second they talk about is you have an unhealthy food habits where there are certain food components should not be mixed, and there are certain food which should not be taken. There are certain food which should not be taken at the night time. There are certain food you should not be taken at this particular season. So those food components, or those which are the food categories, if it is not taken, or if it is not, maybe the way you're cooking, maybe the amount which you eat, maybe the things which you mix is not proper. We'll go into the details later. And then if you're not taking care of the digestive system, means suppose you have a poor appetite, you don't feel hungry, or maybe you feel very hungry but you don't want to eat. So here you are actually having something different. You're not hungry at all, but you wanted to. Point of time you're very hungry but you don't want to eat. So here what happens is not taken care of. So you are not able to then the next one they talk about is there are elements which you should understand that which is shouldn't to proper. We call it incompatible combinations. There is yogurt not be mixed, or milk products which not be mixed with meat and fish. So there are some incompatible combinations which are not supposed to. And then they talk about exercise. This is a very interesting part. Sometimes we say, okay, I'm exercising in a week 2 days, and I exercise 2 hours continuously. And sometimes I don't exercise for a week, then I exercise for 1 week continuously. So we say too much of exercise is also bad for the body. You are overdoing something which can fight against your immune system, which can weaken your immune system, where you will be actually tend to get diseases of joint system, diseases of immune system. So here, too much of exercise is also not good for you. So we should know how much to exercise. Then not exercising at all the time, we are leading a very sedentary life. We don't know whether we are sleeping 6 hours or sometimes we sleep 8 hours, and it's a holiday, so we sleep for 12 hours. Sometimes we have a night shift and we sleep for more than 14 hours. So understand, not having exercise also will be an issue here. Now let us go a little more into the food habits. Let us look into the next slide. So it will give a little more clear explanation about what are the things we can actually. Yeah, so this is little more detailed. It says that excessive intake of saline thing. Saline thing means which is actually, you are actually taking food which is too much salty. Most of the pickles, most of the preserved food, most of the food which is actually frozen, or most of the things which is actually packed and tinned, contain salt, because too much of salt can preserve something. So that's why excessive intake, even if you're taking normally, that can actually cause you. Now, at the same time, excessive sour, excessive pungent, excessive alkaline. Some people say, I'm drinking too much of alkaline water to make my body more, to reduce the acidity. Remember that also body body needs a balanced thing. Too much of unctuous, which is too much of oily, too much of hot and spicy, uncooked food. This is an important part in Ayurveda. Ayurveda says that Ayurveda is not in favor of salad. Ayurveda says it has to be cooked. When you take uncooked vegetable, it takes a long time to digest. A cooked vegetable will digest it very fast. We have an understanding that if you eat food which is actually uncooked, we are losing all the nutrition from it. If that is the case, eating non-vegetarian, we are actually cooking it right. It's not losing its property. We are cooking rice. Most of the vegetables we are cooking. Is it losing it? No. So that is not the right way to think about it. Cook it. What is more important? Why are they saying Ayurveda gives so much of importance in digesting the food? Ayurveda says whatever you eat, whether you are taking vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food, you are having high rich protein or you are having high rich carbohydrate, or you want to follow this diet or that diet, or even if it is a nectar, it has to be digested. So digestion plays more important here. So uncooked vegetable take a long time to digest, so make sure it is digested. Excessive intake of oil cake preparations and radish. Remember, radish is a vegetable which is white carrot, which contain more water. It also contains more element of air. So if you take too much of that, even in Chinese theory, they say too much of radish is not given for conditions of joint pain. Intake of food which causes burning sensation, which is again um, um, spicy stuff. Sometimes we have some food to intake, to have more, we add some pickles into it, and then we are able to eat more. And during digestion, that means you have taken your food, then you're taking something spicy. And excessive intake of curd, which is yogurt. There is this theory which is very prevalent in Kerala. They say that if you're a person who takes yogurt every day, don't come and see me, you will be definitely sick, because everyday intake of yogurt, too much of yogurt, and that is why yogurt is not recommended to take at night at all. Even if you are take it during lunch hours, and never mix it with milk, never mix it with meat, never mix it with fish, never mix it with the leafy vegetable, because yogurt and meat together become incompatible. Yogurt and spinach and leafy vegetable become incompatible. It is the same goes with the milk also. Sesame paste, sugar cane, kanji, which is normally we have an understanding, but here they are talking, it's not that kanji is bad, too much of kanji. Savira, which is sour preparation of dehusked barley, and too much of vinegar. Buttermilk. There was this patient, I came, and he used to take apple cider vinegar every day, thinking this is good for my digestion, good for my cholesterol, good for my diabetes, good for my blood pressure. And he was taking 15 milli every day in the morning. And after some time, he developed an ulcer. And the difficulty is that, imagine he get a heart attack and he goes to the hospital and they have to put a stent, and because that's an emergency. And when you're putting a stent, or when you're doing a ballooning or an angioplasty, they have to introduce some blood thinners. Imagine you have an ulcer, you are introducing a blood thinner, you will have a bleeding. So it's a critical situation where you have to protect the heart, and you also have it. Then you will have bleeding. It can happen anywhere from the body. So don't take too much of vinegar, too much of buttermilk, too much of alcohol, wine, intake of contradictory food, which I was telling you, intake of food before the previous meal is digested. So that is why before eating, the first thing they are asking is, do you feel hungry or not? If you're hungry, take the food. If you're hungry, and at the same time, suppose you are mentally not happy, suppose you feel sad, suppose you're angry, suppose you're depressed, suppose your mind is not happy, mind is not relaxed, then they advise don't eat. Better wait until you're mentally relaxed. Omission of the purification of the body. This is something which Ayurveda recommend. If you want to improve the immune system, you should have a regular purification of the body. A simple detox. Maybe once in a month, take some purgative to clear at least the digestive tract. Or take a proper treatment of Panchakarma, which there are many different techniques are explained to. Do once a year, because detoxification helps to remove the unwanted toxins from the body, and so the system can function better. And too much of sexual intercourse and also in improper ways, resorting to anger in excess. If you get too much of angry, you may get rheumatoid arthritis. That's what Ayurveda say. Also sleeping during daytime and remaining awake at night. So this is, they are talking about a lifestyle. Now what? So that means if you are sleeping too much in the daytime also is bad. If you're not sleeping at night also is bad. So if you are resorting to this, so they are not talking about an autoimmune things or anything here. They are talking if you are following a healthy lifestyle, if you are following a healthy food habits, if you are following a healthy sleeping habits, and if you are having a healthy sexual life or a family life or a relationship, you basically can protect you from it. So these are the reasons. Let us go into the next slide and see. So what are the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis? It has many stages are there. The mostly it starts from the hands or the feet or maybe fingers with a little inflammation and pain, where when you wake up in the morning, you will feel all these joints as like very unlikely way, or you can say it just becomes stiff. And then it takes some time for you to stretch it and say, okay, oh my God, it's so stiff in the morning. And why suddenly it happened? And that stiffness from the fingers, will, after a week, you may think, okay, it's just something, maybe I exposed myself to cold water, but then you can see every day morning the stiffness happens. Along with that, maybe one joint with little pain or maybe some inflammation. And then you see, oh, this finger doesn't move like last time, it become a little stiff. And that will slowly spread into other fingers. And the issue with this rheumatoid arthritis is that in the first stage, it affects only maybe one or two joints. And if it is not taken care properly, it can go to other joints. And it can actually blow from the head to the tip of the toe. Every joint can be affected. And when it goes into first joint to the second, we already say it's the second stage. And then you actually have some kind of a deformity. Then we say, oh, it's already third stage. At the same time, this also can give you some kind of you can say complications where it can affect your vision, or it can affect your heart, it can affect your skin, it can affect your kidney, it can affect your lungs. Just imagine rheumatoid arthritis can affect all these systems of the body. And then we say, oh, it's already fourth stage. So even though this is looking very simple, but this can give so much of complication. Imagine there is rheumatic heart conditions, it affects the eye. So these conditions are quite severe. Now let us see what are the other associated symptoms which can actually happen to. So the person may get fever, the person may say, I'm so tired, the person may say, I don't have proper appetite, I don't have the taste to eat, I feel so heaviness in the body, I just feel altered taste. That you eat something sweet, you say, no, it's not so sweet enough. You feel so exhausted, you have inability to do your work, that you can't concentrate, you feel tired, you just have so much of joint pain and body pain, you feel burning sensation, you feel increased thirst, you may also feel that remissions and exhale. You just feel completely depressed. It's not just it affects the body, it affects the mind. The complete quality of the life is affected. And this is how rheumatoid arthritis basically become a severe condition, that it can completely cripple you. It can completely disturb your quality of life. Let us see what are we going to do in Ayurveda. So as far as management is concerned, Ayurveda recommends a very detailed program. In the first stage, Ayurveda just say, you have a condition where it is connected to unwanted toxins, which has degenerated joint system. And if you just fast it, if you just reduce the food intake, it involves into some light food every day, and avoid all those unhealthy habits of protecting from you. Make sure you sleep on time, eat on time, you have regular oil application, you take some, introduce some fasting, introduce some light porridge and all those things. That itself is enough to degenerate or, to detoxify, to remove the toxins from the body and the joint become better. We call it that if you have too much of unwanted toxins, the program is different. If you have only small amount of toxins in your system, just a diet and lifestyle can cure you. But the moment it has gone deeper, second or third or fourth stage, then we will introduce detoxification program, where we will introduce some oil application, we will introduce some detoxification, we will give you some internally, we will ask you certain food items to be avoided. Mostly we have joined this. Of course, there are a lot of herbal combinations are there, and even bloodlet used in some of the countries to remove the. So, what we are trying to say is that if the second stage, that have more than 2 or 3 joints are affected, or you say that you are tired and you have already having more serious conditions, then internal herbal combinations are given, which has the capability to strengthen the joint, which has the capability to reduce the pain, which has the capability to reduce the inflammation, which has the capability to improve the immune system, which has the capability to improve the digestion and metabolism. So the total treatment program protocol is decided, depends upon what stage and what constitution. Do you have any other conditions? Do you have a diabetes? Do you have blood pressure? You have a heart condition? You have skin problem? Depends upon that, we will select certain programs. But mostly the treatment program involves 3 different protocols. One is digest the unwanted toxins from the system. So there are some herbs are given internally. Second, rejuvenate the joint, which is actually degenerated, which is by giving some external applications and some internal herbal combinations to remove the unwanted toxins from the body and strengthen the joint. So we introduce some oil application, we introduce some medicated enema, we introduce some pouring of medicated oil on the body. We have a program where we call it Dhanyamradara, that some of the seeds and grains are used, which is boiled and poured into the body. So there is symptomatic approach, which works like a pain reliever, an anti-inflammatory. There is also treatment which is given internally to remove the toxins from the deep-rooted tissues of your body, so you don't go into another stage and you will eventually improve in that. So here, protocol for treatment differ from patient to patient, but at the same time, the basic theory of improving your digestive fire, improving your immune system, degeneration is prevented, the joints are strengthened, inflammations and burning sensation and pain is managed. So all these are achieved by internal herbal combinations, external oil treatment program, detoxification program, and the diet and lifestyle. So most of the time what we tell is that you may have to avoid yogurt and cheese. We tell them don't take brinjal, don't take mushroom, don't take peanuts, don't take cashew nuts, and avoid too much of cold stuff and cold water. Don't indulge in too much of exercises, don't sleep in the daytime, and mostly make sure the sugar intake is avoided, and make sure that it is lightly digestible, and also don't be in stress. If there is too much of stress, make sure it is taken properly. So this is how we are managing the, let us go into the next slide. So these are, we'll be using it. We'll see the next slide. And so let us see the next slide again. So you can see that we use fasting, we introduce some herbal powders to massage you, we introduce some external paste applications are given, some of the oils are given, some of the powders are, so there are many things are introduced. These are the common things we use. Let us, and next slide please. So, internal medicines, Panchakarma treatment, like I was explaining to you. Next slide, please. Yes, next one. Yeah, so these are the do's and don'ts. the parboiled rice is good for you. Red rice is good for you. Flaked rice is good. 1 year age rice, wheat, barley, these are good. And green gram and black gram is more better. See, even non-vegetarian local muttons are good. You can introduce some cow's milk and goat's milk, and drumstick leaves are good for you. Mild exercise, little slight walking using warm clothes. These are the things which you can do. At the same time, avoid which is not too, avoid spicy, hot, which is salty, sour, heavy heavy food, and avoid peas and horse gram. Don't take alcohol, yogurt, and cold drinks. Avoid sweet items like pancake and also radish and untimely food. Reduce bitter gourd, reduce jackfruit and dry leaf vegetable, and activities which is stress involving, sleeping in the daytime, staying awake at night. Oil application bathe after taking food, which is something which is not recommended. If you're in full stomach, don't apply oil for the body. And cold water, excessive exercise, and too much of traveling, working in sun, suppressing natural adjust. These are the things which is not to be done as far as rheumatoid arthritis is concerned. Let us see the next slide. So, I also want to tell you that there are some research done in rheumatoid arthritis, which is actually done in 2012. It was the first of a kind of an attempt to develop and use placebos of the traditional dosage forms of Ayurvedic pharmaceutical medicine in a double-blind and placebo-controlled trial. The study compared safety and efficacy of standard allopathic treatment and multimodal Ayurvedic treatment for rheumatoid arthritis in 45 patients, and patients were assigned to 3 arms that received allopathic treatment separately, Ayurvedic treatment separately, and combination of both. The study revealed that approximately equivalent to methotrexate and fewer side effects, the patient showed clinically significant improvement in the disease activity scores. This study recommended as blueprint for future studies on complementary medicine. This Indo-US study was conducted in Ayurveda Pharmacy Coimbatore and the University of California, funded by the National Institute of Health. NIH USA has won the Integrative Medicine Research Excellence Award from the European Society of Integrative Medicine. The study showed that Ayurvedic treatment alone given was more effective. It could actually even better than using the normal corticosteroids, steroids, and methotrexate and immunosuppressants, and the painkillers Ayurvedic group was actually showed more improvement. Also, 1960, a unique study of Ayurvedic treatment evaluating the whole system for rheumatoid arthritis in 90 allopathic physicians enrolled a total of 290 patients, and Ayurvedic physicians made individualized treatment closely adhering to principles from classical Ayurveda. The duration of the treatment varied from 1 to 6 months, and results showed statistically significant improvement in all parameters from result to indicate the classical Ayurveda treatment. So was effective in this first cohort of the patient, although there was no control group. So what basically Ayurvedic treatment, even though this is what is the, at recent times everybody is asking for research and evidence based. This has been done by National Institute of so it was actually showed that the recent studies also was. Let us see the next one. So the conclusion is classical Ayurveda interventions utilize whole, personalized approaches that consider causative and pathogen process and do not specifically target only of rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis can be managed well with Ayurveda medicines, and there are less chances of recurrence if persons follow the concept of healthy lifestyle and regular cleansing of through Panchakarma procedures. So rheumatoid arthritis is something which can be effectively addressed through a complete Ayurveda approach. And thank you for listening. If there is any questions, I will take it at the end of the session. Thank you, Harini. Back to you.
screen.
Thank you, Dr. Sibi, for your wonderful presentation. Next, I request Dr. V. Suresh Kumar, BSc, BAMS, MSc, to present his topic on stress and Ayurveda in the context of COVID-19. Dr. V. Suresh Kumar is a senior lecturer in the health and wellness at Taylor's University, Malaysia. He is the senior Ayurvedic physician, yoga master, World Health Organization's yoga expert panel member, practicing in Malaysia since 18 years. He is providing Ayurvedic treatments for various illnesses and health and wellness training for general well-being for the last 19 years. He has initiated, developed, and is teaching a new holistic approach to health and wellness module for graduate program in Taylor's University, Malaysia since the year 2015. He has conducted training workshops for the universities, corporates, academic and non-profit community in Malaysia, India and Europe. He has over 28 years of experience in teaching physical training and yoga. He has presented 22 papers at various conferences in India and Malaysia on holistic health and wellness, including original research on effects of holistic health and wellness programs on university students, professionals, and general public. Sir, we request you to join us for the session.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Hello?
So we can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
doctor, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. We can start. His Excellency, High Commission of India, Malaysia, respected Director, Traditional and Complementary Medicine, Malaysia, Dr. Go Cheng Soon, respected speakers, respected organizers of this webinar event, respected and dear participants, a very good evening to everyone. Today we are celebrating 5th National Ayurveda Day. But now the National Ayurveda Day is celebrating all over the world. Therefore, this already changed to World Ayurveda Day. This year's theme, National Ayurveda Day's theme is COVID-19, Ayurveda for COVID-19. Here in this speech, I would like to talk to you about stress and Ayurveda in the context of COVID-19. First, to tell you about what is Ayurveda. We know that Ayurveda is the knowledge of life, wisdom of life. But here I have to tell you, Ayurveda is the wisdom of sensibility of life. To explain this, we should know what is life. Life is the union or combined form of body, mind and spirit, or body, mind and soul. This body, mind and soul is a dynamic system, is not stand still, always moving. The moving system will respond to the internal and external changes. Always will respond to the internal and external changes. To explain this, the changes, the system, that means body, mind and spirit itself, try to bring back to the balanced state. That balanced state is called health. Imbalance or disturbed state is the illness or disease. we have to use some kind of parameters to explain the changes of life in the healthy state and illness state. That technical terms are called tridoshas. Ayurveda philosophy is based on these tridosha principles. Tridoshas are the parameters or technical terms we are using to represent the changes happening in life system during healthy state and illness state. This is the basic principle. Dhadus, malas, Agni, Ojas, this type of terms, all these very familiar, connected to Ayurveda, but all these depends on Tridosha. This Tridosha principle is pure, original, and with a lot of eternal strength. That is the sustainability of Ayurveda now and in future. Here, my topic is stress and Ayurveda. Stress and Ayurveda in the context of COVID-19. Stress. What is stress? In terms of modern science, tension or strain experienced in life, in body, mind, and spirit, when the individual is subjected to adverse, challenging, or difficult type of circumstances, that is stress. But in Ayurveda concept, stress is different. To explain stress according to Ayurveda, we should know what are the different types of life. According to Ayurveda, there are 4 types of life. Hidam, ahidam, sukham, dukkham. Wholesome life, unwholesome life, joyous life, and the distressed type of life, painful life, tragic life. Stress is belonging to the category, the last one, that is painful life. To understand this, remember, life is the combination of body, mind, and spirit. Body is a structural body, functional body, and Indriyas. Yes, also according to Ayurveda, 10 types. Senses of perception and senses of action. Mind and soul. All aspects. All these life components can affect this kind of stress or dukkham or affliction. Stress management according to Ayurveda. Remember that according to Ayurveda, stress is dukkham, is a painful life. Every type of Ayurvedic management, the ultimate aim is the balance of body, mind, and soul. Therefore, Ayurveda is the holistic health science. We should know what is Trayopastambhas, 3 pillars of health. The 3 pillars of health are Aharam, Nidra, and Brahmacharya. What are Aharam? What is meant by Aharam? Simply to understand this, we will use the word diet. It's a more important thing. Our diet is our food, our body. But remember that according to Ayurveda, is a broad answer, broad explanation there. Ahara means not only the diet. This is connected to all the sensory organs also. The senses of perception and the senses of action. That also will give some kind of impact. That means nourishing or taken by a type of function in the human system in life. Therefore, that also will consider under ahara according to Ayurveda. That is about Ayurveda ahara. The next one is nidra. We will forget about the nidra. Nidra is like a mother. If we consider the life components are children, giving care, giving nourishment, giving healing. Now you can understand that the significance of nidra to take care of our health. The third one is brahmacharya. The existence of human life in this universe is because of the healthy sex relationship. Healthy sex is the brahmacharya. These are the three pillars of health. We have to perform all these in a moderate and very healthy way to live healthy. That is the way of stress management according to Ayurveda. Body stress. Some kind of situations, the body, the painful situations, the tragic type of situations that will affect body, mind and soul, this impact always that will cause some kind of weakness. Therefore, in the case of stress management, the ultimate aim through the Ayurveda treatment is to strengthen, in the case of immunity, or in the case of ojas, in the case of nourishment of dhadus, in the case of balance of doshas, in the case of correcting agnis, whatever it is, that is related to the strengthening. Because stress means weakness, pain, difficulties. Ayurveda treatment, ultimate aim is to strengthen that. Mind, to strengthen mind. Ayurveda, remember that Ayurveda is a traditional holistic health science. Therefore, Ayurveda encouraging all kinds of traditional practices. Counseling is very important to talk to the people about how to live in this world, Ayurvedic way. The regulation of impurities of mind, manodoshas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, lust, wrath, greed, this type of different types of manodoshas. I'm not explaining all these type of terms. When you do a search, you will get all details. Therefore, just highlighting the points. Manodoshas, we have to regulate that. Why we have to regulate? We can't avoid this because part of life, human life, we can't simply remove everything, but this all associated with the human life. We have to consciously, we have to try to regulate to strengthen the mind. Then soul, rituals, different type of ritual practices, good habits, care, love, respect, good eating habit, good eating, drinking habit, good actions, everything, good talk, good actions, everything, good habits, traditional practices. Traditional practice is also very important in the case of the balance of soul. In this way, we can balance body, mind and spirit, body, mind and soul. This is the way the management of stress in according to Ayurvedic approach. Stress and COVID-19. We know that what is COVID-19 now. COVID-19 is a pandemic. Pandemic means the first thing is a very fearful thing because in many aspects. In the case of COVID-19, the first thing is no medicine. No medicine. And the elderly sick people, life-threatening. In the case of infants, elderly sick people, life-threatening, but generally a fear of death. In the case of fear of death, according to Ayurveda, fear of death is the number one danger to our body. That is COVID. Because of COVID-19, the whole world population facing now. We think after the vaccination, this type of impact that will go off. But with the damages happening to the whole world's human population, that's going to be a big health issue in future. But we don't have medicine for this. We are looking for now, everyone looking for what is the solution for a serious life-threatening health issue without medicine. The answer is you have the responsibility to strengthen yourself. From thousands of years, Ayurveda saying this, Ayurveda teaching this, but who want to listen? There are many obstacles, obstructions to spread this invaluable knowledge throughout the world. But now the whole world realized that the value of Ayurveda. In this COVID-19, the stress is personal stress, family stress, professional stress, social stress. Every aspect of human life is connected to stress now. That is quite painful situation. How we can manage this with the Ayurvedic approach? Remember, I have to tell you again, balance of body, mind, and soul is the aim of the Ayurveda's ultimate aim. Traditional health. Aharam. I explained already what is meant by aharam. Then nidra. Aharam means don't close this with our nutritious, easily digestible, healthy type of food. Is this aharam? Ayurveda concept is quite different. Not only food, all type of our actions using our senses of perception and senses of action. It's aharam. Nidra is sleep. Brahmacharyam is a healthy way of sexual life. And one more we have to add here, that is vyayamam. Vyayamam means depends on the individuals. We have to, this is not a generalized type of vyayamam. Yoga, anyone can practice with the modifications and variations. Anyone can practice yogic methods, techniques. Proper vyayamam, healthy exercises. Then self-realization is very important to balance body and mind. This is a very huge area. I'm writing two words here, self-realization. What is this self-realization? So one can realize, self-realize can establish that individual no need to worry about any mental stress or soul stress or body stress. That is self-realization. Self-realization means we have to understand realize our strengths, weaknesses, our opportunities, our threat. If we can realize that and accept that, we can mold the methods to handle the stress. That is the self-realization. Actually, now we need this type of self-realization connected to COVID-19. We have to realize fear is not the solution for COVID-19 stress. We have to be confident and we have to realize our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threat. When can realize that, we can manage not only COVID-19 stress, COVID-1900 also we can manage that. World Health Organization now warning, this is only a sign, some more worse thing can come. Ayurveda saying, you can manage, you have to develop not only immunity, that we can use the word immunity, but according to Ayurveda, that is, some more broad type of meaning. Ayurveda for global health. now and in future. Ayurveda is no more an ancient health science. Whenever we talk, we will mention Ayurveda is ancient health science. Yes, Ayurveda originated in ancient period, but now Ayurveda is different. But many people in this world, they don't want to accept that. That's the reason why Ayurveda's establishment in this world quite slow. Remember that. Again, I have to mention the basic principles of Ayurveda is pure, original, with a lot of eternal strength. But the theory and the practice of Ayurveda, we have to change based on the modern developments of science and technology. Some extent we failed to apply that. That's the reason why we couldn't, this invaluable science, we couldn't spread globally in that level in this long period of time. But now, in this type of COVID-19 pandemic and the other type of life-threatening diseases, clearly giving the message, your health is your responsibility. That is Ayurveda saying. Ayurveda is the answer for that. Therefore, Ayurveda will live up to the life existing in this universe. And this become more and more relevant when the time progresses. This is the message I have to tell you here. Thank you, Dr. Hirini Ramya, inviting me to this event. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh Kumar, for your presentation on the topic that troubles the world today. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. C. Radhakrishnan, BAMS, for his talk on prevention and management of obesity. Prevention and management of obesity through Ayurveda. Dr. C. Radhakrishnan is the director and senior Ayurveda physician at Kerala Ayur Wellness Center, Petalinjaya. Growing up with a high influence of Western medicine and knowing its limitations, Dr. Radhakrishnan has gradually developed a sound interest in herbs and their healing powers. He graduated from Trivandrum Ayurveda College, Kerala University, India, and is practicing in Malaysia since last 15 years. He has considerable experience in working with herbal products and with chronic conditions like musculoskeletal disorders, asthma, and diabetes. He has presented many papers and talks on various subjects of health, and he regularly writes articles in various health magazines. He is also a well-trained musician in Indian classical music and performs regularly in music events as well. I request Dr. Radhakrishnan to join us for the lecture.
Thank you, Dr. Harini. Okay, I'm starting sharing my slides. Am I right? Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Dr. Harini, and my sincere thanks to His Excellency, Indian High Commission, and the respected Director of TCM Malaysia, Dr. Go, and all the organizers. Thank you very much for arranging this platform for promoting and propagating Ayurvedic principle. Thank you very much. So my topic is obesity. Let us come to obesity. Obesity is actually an overweight, and obesity are defined as abnormal excessive fat accumulation that may impair health. That's obesity. So before going through the slides, let me explain my experience about treating obesity or any other cases in Ayurveda. Then we'll go through the slides. So obesity actually is a total package to heaven, I would say, because you can go through any disease once you get the obesity. It can lead to diabetes, it can lead to heart disease, it can lead to kidney failure, it can lead to any other disease, neurological disorders, any other disorders you can be prone to. So it's a total package. That is why the ancient time itself, obesity was addressed very well by the Ayurvedic fraternity. And it is seen that whatever knowledge in today's world we have about obesity is actually, it is addressed with the same seriousness Ayurveda also addressed obesity since long time. See, this I'm talking about story of 5,000 years ago. All the verses written, I'm showing some of the verses here regarding obesity. So that was the view of Ayurvedic fraternity in those days regarding the obesity. So in Ayurveda, obesity is explained as adhistaulyam, that means excessive accumulation of fat in the body. So let us go through some of the common facts about obesity. And worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. It is a alarming situation because those days when we are in school or college, we know one or two boy or girl is obese, and we always in a college 2 or 3. Now looking into our own community, our own family, our daughter next to our child, our brother or sister, father is obese. So that kind of an alarming situation we are going through, but we are not aware that obesity can cause so much problems in health, and the lifespan also can be reduced due to obesity. There is a lack of general awareness about obesity. So, and 38 million children under the age of 5 were overweight or obese in 2019. Over 340 million children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 were overweight or obese in 2016. So this shows it's a pointer towards our health also. How are we as a physician, as a person, responsible person, how are we? Are we obese? So let us see data from Malaysia also. The prevalence of obesity among Malaysian elderly was 30.2%. This study was done in 2015, and 3,794 participants were there. So this is quite alarming, and now we are also into this category. Those days we can show, okay, there is a person walking across the street is obese. Now, actually, we are in the same scenario of obesity. So this is one of the verse in Ayurveda says about obesity. What is obesity? It's a person is called over obese who, due to exercise, excessive increase of fat and muscles, has pendulous buttocks, abdomen, and breast. See, you should remember this is written 5,000 years ago. And very interesting word is that hereafter I won't be using much verses from Ayurveda. Ayatho upache ulsaho. That means the person is not interested in any activity according to the food he is taking. That is very interesting verse actually. And many times we take this quote and use in our life many times. This fellow not doing anything, we used to do like say like that, and he eat everything and doesn't do anything. So this ayatho upache ulsaho, that is the origin of this concept actually from Ayurveda, I could say. Okay, the concept is that the person, the energy balance of what is taking, what is spending is not matching. That's the concept. So Ayurveda very clearly understood there is a problem with obesity, and it need to be addressed at the earliest. Ayurveda knew this early. Okay, and importance of ideal body proportion. So this also written, all the verses you have seeing here written 5,000 years ago. A person with balanced proportion of muscles and compactness of the body and firmness in sense organs is not overcome by the onslaught of disorders. See, very clearly our ancient rishis or Ayurvedic fraternity says that the proportion, body is if proportionate, you will be healthy. So that's very good piece of information. That means today we know the COVID-19. There are a lot of studies came out shows that those who are obese or comorbidities with obesity are affected more actually in COVID. There's a lot of research papers came out. So in any angle you look, as I told in the beginning, obesity is a complete package to heaven. Only thing we need to decide what kind of disease we need to take and go to heaven. So anyway, jokes apart. So we will see how the obesity is calculated. It is calculated by body mass index. And a person's body mass index, is a person's weight in kilograms divided by the square of height in meters. See the severity of this, if you want to know. One more thing I would say, like a lot of other methods to calculate the obesity, but this is the most commonly done. Waist circumference, waist to hip ratio, or skin fold thickness, bioelectric impedance. Lot of methods are there to calculate. So see all the participants. I can see around 30, 40 participants here. So I would request you to calculate your body mass index now. And those who are below 25, please send a hand raise to this group. So let us see how serious is the problem. That means take your body weight and your height in meters squared. Body weight divided by the height in meters. So you can calculate, and let us say, including my colleague physicians also, you can calculate and send to the group. Those who are healthy below 25, you can just send a hi to the group. So that much alarming is the condition of obesity. That is why Ayurveda those days tried to address the obesity in a very serious, responsible way. Okay. And if the BMI is between below 18.5 is underweight, and as per the chart we can see 18 to 24.9 is normal, and 25 to 29 is overweight, and 30 and above is obese. You may be thinking, what is the BMI of my BMI? Mine is around 23.9. So yesterday, after getting this topic, I suddenly measured my BMI and it is 23.9. That doesn't mean that I comes under a healthy category. The tendencies are there for us to overeat always. So we need to cut the tendencies of overeating. And characteristics of obese person we already discussed. Disfigured with the pentulous buttocks, belly and breasts, and whose increased bulk is not matched by a corresponding increase in energy. Okay. The etiology of obesity is far more complex than simply an imbalance between energy. So don't think that because of too much eating, the obesity is coming. No, there are more complex etiologies that are happening in the body, which need to be addressed. Obese patient need more help to address his condition. Factors responsible for the development of obesity include: it could be the race, sex, age factors, ethnic factors, cultural factors, socio-economic status, dietary habits, and many other reasons it could be. So we need to, a real obesity patient needs actually help to sort out the obesity actually. Okay, morbidities related to obesity. Obesity can lead to glucose tolerance, then can lead to heart disease, cerebrovascular diseases, a lot of diseases, metabolic syndrome, pulmonary abnormalities, gastrointestinal abnormalities. All the obesity can lead to all these problems. That is the only reason obesity need to be looked seriously and addressed at the earliest. So as I told you, if you assess your obesity and BMI, and if it is above 30, you are not realize that you are also under this category of obesity. So what is the measure to be taken? Normally, the obesity, the patients do not know what are the measures to be taken. So a lot of education, a lot of information to be given to the patient to understand what they are going through and what are the other morbidities they are going through. And always patient should consult a physician to understand to address all the conditions. Never take your own methods to treat obesity. We have a tendency nowadays that a lot of slimming centers came into existence, where you fast according to many ways and reduce the weight, which always I advise consult a physician or Ayurvedic doctor or modern doctor, whoever it may be. Consult and take a decision. And sometimes many advices, small advices can help you to be in a better shape. And also access to care. Obesity, one of the biggest, the access to care is a problem for obesity. Imagine an obese person is unconscious and lying on the street. It will be very difficult to carry him. So such lot of problems, obesity. Access to care is the biggest problem actually. One of the problems in obesity. And calories in and calories out. So this is actually what is happening in obesity, but the underlying etiologies and the underlying other factors is not as simple as you see in this picture. So I already explained to you obesity can induce insulin resistance. Then it goes to type 2 diabetes. The diabetic complications can happen, and it can have osteoarthritis or respiratory conditions or cancer also. So many. This is few of the conditions obesity can lead you to. So coming to Ayurveda, we have already heard Dr. Sibi and Dr. Suresh explaining very beautifully the Ayurvedic concept and terminologies. I don't want to confuse you with too much Ayurvedic terminologies. Just have a look at this picture. Just look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 numbers I have put here. These are 7 tissues. That means the body is made up of 7 tissues. Forget about the names all. So Ayurvedic concept is that the 7 tissues. And see the fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth one is the medo thadu, that means the fatty tissue. So in obesity, what happens? The fatty tissue is somehow accumulates beyond a balanced proportion. That is what happens in obesity. So why it accumulates? There are a lot of reasons to accumulate. According to Ayurveda, you can see there is a fire. Each one is rasadadu. There's a fire, small fire. That means Ayurveda believes that there is a fire or a digestive fire prepares the food. The rasadadu is the first tissue in the body formed from the food. So that formation is happened by a fire. Fire in the sense it is not like a fire, a real fire. It can be a chemical reaction in the body. Ayurveda totally believes like that. So in every aspect, whatever change in the body happens, like the blood is formed, or mamsa, the muscles are formed, or fat is formed, or bone is formed. So there is a fire acting each and every place. It's a chemical reaction acting. So only in the fatty tissue, this chemical reaction is somehow went out of control. This is a whole scenario of understanding of obesity in Ayurveda. So there are a lot of technical terms we use to explain this, but basically this you have to understand. So another way we can say actually body is in love with fat, and whatever you take, it is just converted into fat. It can be said like that. So this is understanding. So our treatment all focusing to reduce the fat in the body or correct the mechanism of the fire in the body. So the fire which is causing the accumulation of over accumulation of fat. And we have many methods of understanding what fire is over accumulated, how much it is over accumulated, and what are the herbs to be given to control that particular fire. This is the beauty of Ayurveda. And any medicine when we use, there is no side effect at all. This is another beauty of Ayurveda. So anyway, you may need the help of a physician, Ayurvedic trained physician, to do all this calculation. This is just for understanding. I have shown here. And the complex interactions underlying polygenic obesity demonstrate that genetic. So you can see the total, some of the interaction, exercise, nutrition, even certain virus attacks can cause, obesity, or food in abundance, even food in abundance also, you may not be able to eat in abundance because there should be some psychological factors which promotes you to eat. So even food in abundance, you are not able to be in an obese category, but there is a psychological reason where you are eating more. Or some of the medical treatment is when you take steroid and all, it could be afterwards it could be end up in obesity or pollution hormone. So many reasons could be there for obesity. And in short, obesity and diabetes, we should be very careful. Any person with obesity, just now, I hope all of you have done the BMI test. And I didn't see any of the message here. Okay, so hope all of you are healthy, and if at all not healthy, you need to start preparing for your treatments to address through Ayurveda. Okay, so these are the obesity and osteoarthritis. These are the products of obesity. It can lead to depression or cancer or gallbladder disease, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all. Okay, health risk increase in obesity. See, over a period of 10 years, suppose from today you are obese, and today is 2020. So 2030, by 2030, what will happen if you don't control the obesity? That means you could be a diabetic at that time, and gallstones, hypertension, colon cancer, heart disease, all could happen. Not necessarily should happen, could happen. There are a lot of other factors. So this is an indication of what would happen in. According to WHO, obesity is one of the most common modifier risk factors. That means you have access to control your problem, but many obese patients not realizing they are under obesity. That's the biggest problem. How to tell them? That means Ayurveda always says every day you should look into your own body and think about yourself, which is very seldom happens nowadays. We are working in a corporate company, or we are working under stress, we are meeting targets. So we have very less time to look into our own health perspective. So the first slogan in Ayurveda is one of the chapters of the Dinacharya is that you need to wake up early morning and think about yourself. So don't look into the neighbor's house. Don't even look into your spouse. Think about you. That is what Ayurveda says. That means if the early diagnosis is very important, many diseases, even cancer, early diagnosis is ultimately very important. So Ayurvedic advice in that sense is very important. Look into yourself and see, what is happening in you. Then only you go to concentrate in other matters. So early morning wake up is very crucial to any maintaining health of any person, because early morning you will get a lot of time to focus in yourself. Because after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the phone starts ringing, the world starts moving, so you can't do anything. So that is the some of the basic advices in Ayurveda has a greater impact in life actually. The causes of obesity, we already seen. Genetic factors are there, environmental factors are there, social factors, cultural factors. Disease like hypothyroidism, hormonal imbalance could be there, or drugs like steroids. Those who take steroid for a long time, we can see they have water retention, increased weight. And those who asthmatic, patients, or those who use steroids, or arthritic patients who controls pain with the steroids, after some time their obesity can happen. Obesity, Medo Rogas. Ayurveda explains obesity as a fatty disease which is related to fat. And Ayurvedic obesity is related as a Medo Roga, disorder of Meda, Thoda, adipose tissue, and fat metabolism. So we have seen the 7 tissues there in the picture 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th tissue was the Medo Dhadu, the fatty tissue. If you remember, you recollect. And Ayurveda always believe that this is a problem with that forming of that more the fatty tissue. Okay. And overeating is one of the cause in Ayurveda, and frequent food intake before digestion of previous meal. Kapha increasing food. That means Ayurveda, Dr. Sibi said 3 kinds of forces in our body: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Nowadays, very seldom we use in modern talk sessions. 3 kinds of X, Y, Z you can calculate. X, Y, and Z. 3 kinds of parameters which controls our body. One parameter controls the growth. One parameter controls the movement. And one parameter may be controlling our heat or digestion in the body. So 3 kinds of parameters. So one of the parameters called the kapha, which controls the growth factor or accumulation factor in the body. So certain food directly increases that third factor, X, Y, Z, Z factor, with the kapha factor. So that can cause obesity. Excessive consumption of seafood, excessive use of oily food. This all your grandma will be advising you, because this is a very common sense actually. excessive use of meat, usage of new grains, usage of sugarcane jaggery, drinking water after food intake. So what we need to understand is that, so before eating, you are sitting, you are going for the food. Few questions you need to ask yourself before eating. So this is a very practical way of dealing obesity. Am I hungry? That's the first question. Maybe all of you can write down. Am I hungry? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Very practical question. Are you hungry? Many times we eat without having hunger because 9 o'clock is office, 8:30 we need to have food. That's all. So am I hungry is the first question you should ask. Second, is this the right time for food? That's very important. What time you take food? Sometimes late night food always have a bigger impact in health. So what time? Is it the right time for me for the food? So, and is this the right food? You are having a food in front of you and look at the food and ask yourself, is it the right food for you? Very seldom we do this in our lifetime. And secondly, then ask about the quantity. Is it the right quantity for you? Ask yourself. If you ask these questions, every day ask these questions. So your brain will develop a tendency to estimate what you need. Because, for example, I would say, if you have a computer and you have a printer, so you just connect the printer to the computer. Computer need to understand it is a printer. Then only you can take the printout. So you will install a driver in the computer to understand that's the printer. This language you can understand. When I explain Ayurvedic language, sometimes it is something is missing in it. So like that, you have to install a driver in your brain to understand about the eating habit. Sometimes with the course of life, busy life schedule, this driver is missing. Driver is a piece of software which tells you how much to eat, how much to, when to eat, what to eat, that software is missing in your brain. So you need to install it regularly. Sometimes every day you need to install. Today you install, tomorrow is missing. So this is a way. When you do a process, like you ask yourself, that process itself installs the piece of information software in their brain, and that will be helpful. Like cycle balance, for example, you don't have cycle balance. Suppose you cannot ride cycle, there is no balance in you. So what you will do for getting the cycle balance? You will get into the cycle and do the pedaling. Am I right? So that process will induce a balance in the brain. Am I right? This is very clear. So before that, before doing that process, you never had cycle balance. But you get into the cycle and pedal gradually, and your balance is maybe balance was there. It installs suddenly, then you get the balance. Maybe it take 1 week or 2 weeks. Like that, obesity or any other disease, you need to install that particular software in your brain to understand that, overcome the situation. So if you follow this, the routine of every day, am I hungry? Is this right time for me for the food? Is it the right food for me, or is this quantity is good for me? And also you look around and share your food with your subordinates. That's also very important. So all this will help you to install a piece of software which will guide you in every day how much to eat, what to eat. Okay, so we will go to the next slide. Causes of
Sir,
obesity.
sorry to interrupt. Could you make your presentation a bit concise? Yeah, you can finish it off.
Okay, thank you. So sorry. I will go to the last slide. There are a lot of treatments explained, but you should always seek help from a physician to get the right advice for you to get the right treatment for you. And diet-wise, there are a lot of ways we can treat this obesity. One is dietary therapies, physical activities like yoga and all, behavioral therapy, or medicines, like a lot of chemicals which helps to stop absorbing, that fat, or stop reducing appetite, or bariatric surgery. But Ayurveda always advise very conservative kind of treatment. You may have to get help of an Ayurvedic physician to have the proper treatment. And some of the tamasic food, some of the food are those food which inactivates your mind and body. So there are a lot of food explained in Ayurveda which you could avoid also. Okay, anyway, time is up. Thank you very much. Hope you understood. I hope I conveyed some message to you through this talk. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan, for your talk on the most important lifestyle disorder of the present era. Sorry that we could not continue for a longer duration. Next, I request Dr. M. Devarajan, BAMS, to give his lecture on safe and effective daily usage of 5 Ayurvedic herbs to prevent gastrointestinal cancer. Dr. Devarajan hails from a traditional Ayurveda and Siddha practicing family since many generations in Kerala. He completed his bachelor's degree in Ayurveda from SDM College of Ayurveda, affiliated to the University of Mysore in the year 1999. He has more than 20 years of clinical experience as an Ayurvedic physician. He is practicing in Malaysia for the past 13 years. Currently, he is the Director and Senior Ayurvedic Physician at Anurag Ayurveda, SDN Bahad, Melaka. He is married to Mrs. Tan Yu Pin, a Malaysian citizen, and has 3 children. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Harini. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
No presentation. No presentation. So that should be. You can give him the whole screen. Why it is so disturbed?
Okay, can I start? Dr. Harini, please feel free to interfere if I exceed my time. Okay. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much to His Excellency Mr. Midul Kumar for his welcoming speech. Thank you very much to Dr. Go for her introduction about Ayurveda. My topic today is safe and effective daily usage of 5 Ayurvedic herbs to prevent gastrointestinal cancer. The reason for selecting this topic is there are main 2 reasons. One is to create awareness among the public, because before the COVID situation itself, the social media, we used to get a lot of messages saying the effectiveness of the Ayurvedic herbs, usages, recipes. And with COVID situation, social media is flooded with various formulas, preparations with all of Ayurvedic herbs. So the big question is, are they safe and effective? The main point is, herbs are safe and effective if we use them safely and effectively. The second thing is, if they are safe and effective, how much we can use. Just because they are safe and effective, we are not supposed to use it in more than the normal quantities. It will backfire. Even if it is good, if it is a safe thing, anything in excess is a poison. The second thing, second is just to highlight the ancient knowledge and the depth and dimension of our sages' knowledge regarding the herbs. See, these 5 herbs I selected are we use in everyday food. The sages were aware about even minute impurities and properties of these herbs, and they have advised some purification methods and the correct way of using them in many ways. Just want to highlight about this. They were aware about, they have paid attention to most minute details of a herb. So the 5 herbs I selected are, the first one is black pepper, second one is turmeric, third one is holy basil or tulsi, the fourth one is ginger, and the last one is garlic. Straight away to the black pepper. Until 16th century, we were using, especially in Asia, we were using black pepper. That is the only spice we used in our food for getting the spiciness. 16th century Portuguese arrived. They have introduced red chili, and we started using it ever since. So here, the red chilies, there is a theory that the red chilies itself can cause gastrointestinal ulcers and later lead to gastrointestinal cancers. So one of while using red chili, we have this risk factor. The second thing is the most modern researchers found out that one of the very effective anti-canceral herb, turmeric, is absorbed along with black pepper much more better and the most effective way. So when we stopped using black pepper and started using black chili, we have lost this effectiveness of turmeric. Turmeric is actually black pepper. It won't cause problem to everyone, but for some it may cause some symptoms like over sweating, burning sensation, stomach pain, cause some stomach ulcers and all those things. So when we use it in curries, we have to make it acceptable to everyone, including the children. For that, sages have advised a mild purification method. We have to smear the black pepper with ghee and gently fry it. Or you can smear the pan with ghee, then you can fry it. And you can powder it and keep it for a short time usage, or fry it and keep it for long time usage. This way, we are making it more mild and acceptable for everyone in the house. And while doing this, we are not losing its potency. We are only making it more mild and to an easily absorbable form. Second herb is turmeric. Turmeric is generally safe. It generally won't cause any issues with anyone. So, but only thing we have to make sure that to be effective, it has to be original and pure. The most of the powders we get in yellow color is not original turmeric. So just make sure that you are using the original and pure turmeric. We can use it in two ways. One is as fresh or turmeric powder. When we use it as fresh, don't try to remove the skin because there is no skin for turmeric. We just have to wash thoroughly. Then, if you are trying to remove, you are losing most of the part from it. So second one is using as powder. Actually, we can make this powder at home very easily. You have to wash the turmeric thoroughly, then cook it for at least 45 minutes. Later, drain off the water, then dry it in shade. For this, you can put it in a plate and cover it with a white paper and dry it under the sun. After that, powder it and use it for your own any purpose. And one thing we have to make sure that the quantity should be minimum for the curries. The third herb is tulsi. Tulsi is a very powerful herb and it has anti-cancer properties. But it has one of the strong properties tulsi is anti-fertile. It will reduce the sperm count and it will reduce the weight of male and female sexual organs and it modulates our reproductive hormones. Thus, it causes fertility. So the only way traditionally, the tulsi were never used in cooking. The only way we see it used in olden days was the holy water, we get it from the temples. The tulsi leaves will be there, we will remove it. Either the ladies used to put it on the hair, the men used to put it on the ear, then we drink the water. That is enough to get the daily immune booster effect of tulsi. So this way you can use it still. You just have to do it either overnight, put a few tulsi leaves in a glass of water overnight. Next morning you can drink it. Remove the leaves and you can drink it. Or you can just 1 hour before you can do that in the morning and you can drink it. So you get without any adverse effect, you get the necessary benefit from the tulsi. The other way of getting effect from tulsi is to plant it all around the house, especially right in front of your main doors and windows. The wind touches the tulsi plant and comes in the house and disinfect the entire house. So this is the only way you can use tulsi in everyday life. The next herb is ginger. Ginger is also a strong herb like like pepper. So there are two forms available. One is fresh and one is dry. Generally for food we use the fresh ginger. Before using it, you have to peel off the skin then cut it into small pieces and gently plain fry it. Not oil or any other medium, just gently plain fry it until it becomes golden brown. Especially you have to do this if you are using this for the children, for food or any medicine. Then you can safely use it so that it become more mild and it's ready to, is very easily absorbed to the body. The second way you can use is the ginger juice. While preparing ginger juice, you extract the juice, then you have to heat it for a while. Not boil it, just heat it. Then keep it unmoved for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can see a clear fluid on the top and a sediment at the bottom. You, without shaking, drain off the clear fluid and use it for your food or medicinal purpose. The sediment should not be taken. It has unwanted elements in it. So this is the way you use the ginger. The next herb is garlic. Garlic is also very strong herb. Some it causes reactions, especially the hot body type, the so-called pitta body type. It can cause some reactions, especially if you take it raw. So it can cause some skin reactions or ulcers in the gastrointestinal tract and all this. To make it more mild and acceptable for everyone, just smear it with any type of oil and heat it for a while. Only the just gentle heating. Only the outer layer should be affected. After this, you can use it in minimum quantity for your food or anything. The another way of using garlic is to a milk preparation. Take few slices of garlic, crush it, put it in a glass of milk, add 1 glass of water and boil it until it reduces to the milk. Then this milk will have all the properties of garlic and you can use it every day as safely. So now I come to the preventive aspect of these herbs. These herbs, all these herbs are proven anti-cancer properties. That's the reason, and we use it every day in the food. So the concept is food as medicine to prevent disease, especially gastrointestinal cancers. These herbs either they act individually or as combination. If they prevent in that way, they prevent diseases and especially gastrointestinal cancers. Few things about the gastrointestinal cancers. Actually, according to modern medicine, the actual cause of gastrointestinal cancer is unknown. They have only identified certain risk factors like acid reflux disease, gastrointestinal ulcers, the chronic or mild, long-standing gastritis, some of the polyps in the stomach, then bacterial infections like H. pylori, so these are the risk factors they have identified. So another important finding in recent in modern science is they have found a shared pathology, a common pathology for metabolic syndrome and cancer. Metabolic syndromes, like they have found elevated blood sugar, high blood pressure, and cholesterol levels, and cancer formation. One of the common factors they found in these two is mild or chronic long-standing inflammation. So these are, if simply speaking, these are all related to gastrointestinal. Generally, we can call it as digestion-related problems. Ayurveda, thousands of years back, explained a concept called ama. Ama is a toxic, pro-inflammatory product of incomplete digestion. Ayurveda has said this is the root cause for all the illnesses. So when we talk about the prevention, if we simply prevent these gastrointestinal problems from occurring, we can effectively prevent gastrointestinal cancers or any other illness. For that, what you have to do is, we have to make sure that our body is functioning properly. To make sure that our body is functioning properly, we have to make sure that the basic functions in our body, like appetite, digestion, absorption, and bowel movements are proper. So when this happens, our body, our body gets good nourishment, and when the digestion is complete, there is no ama or incomplete incomplete product is formed. So digestion will be complete, and all the nutritions will be absorbed to our body. And when the excretion is proper, the waste products will go out from our body, so that each and every part of our body will be healthy, including the cells. One of the modern concept in cancer is cells losing its memory and start growing uncontrollably. So how this helps help in these basic functions: appetite, digestion, absorption, and bowel movements. See, all these herbs mentioned they are basically appetizers. They have aroma, they have vibrant color, and all these things. So while cooking itself, we can feel all these things. So if Ayurveda says a food should be accepted completely by the body to be healthy, so it should be accepted by all senses. So with the aroma, we feel the food, the smell we feel, with the color we experience with our eyes, and with helping the digestion will be complete, and they helps to in the excretion, though the waste product will be gone from our body completely. Especially the two herbs, the black pepper, they stimulate the enzymes and gastric juices to produce for the digestion. And turmeric and tulsi have excellent neutralizing effect for poisons. They pepper, according to the modern studies, pepper has a property which can help liver to mark the chemicals, food chemicals, and keep them ready for excretion. So this we are preventing toxins from absorbing to our body. So one of the recent cause is a lot of chemicals in food, harmful chemicals in food, which can cause gastrointestinal cancers. So just by mixing food with these herbs, we are preventing it from absorbing to our body. Also, our body get help to excrete it. So we generally clean and healthy. So by correcting appetite, digestion, absorption, and bowel movements, these herbs make sure that our body get complete nourishment. Each and every body get complete nourishment. Our cells get nourishment, so they will have good memory. So they won't lose memory and start multiplying uncontrollably. So please include these herbs. Please your cooking, what your grandmother's cooking. With this, I conclude my talk. All the credits must be, all the right information, whatever I provide here, the credit must be given to a great way of life called Ayurveda, my gurus, my teachers, and the family tradition I am born and brought up with. I have taken most care to avoid any mistakes in this talk. If at all any mistake happens, the responsibility is purely mine. Don't blame Ayurveda or my gurus or my teachers for that fault. Salute for my humble salute to my parents, my guru, God, each and every one of you. You all have a safe and pleasant evening. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Devarajan, for explaining the effective ways to incorporate these 5 Ayurvedic herbs in our day-to-day life. The next presentation is by me, Dr. G. Harni Ramya, on Ayurvedic management of cerebral palsy. I am the Ayurveda practitioner deputed by the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, to the Traditional and Complementary Medicine Division of Ministry of Health, Malaysia. I have completed my bachelor's degree in Ayurveda from Coimbatore Ayurveda College and post-graduation in Ayurvedic Pediatrics from Thiruvananthapuram Government Ayurveda College, Kerala. I received my clinical training from one of the eminent Ayurvedic scholars in India, Dr. L. Mahadevan, in his Gurukulam, where I gained a vast clinical experience in treating various neurological and rheumatological conditions and pediatric developmental disorders. Presently, I am consulting patients at Hospital Port Dickson and Hospital Rehabilitation, Cheras. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Harini Ramya. The topic for today's webinar is Ayurvedic management of cerebral palsy. While hearing this topic, 3 questions would have popped up in your mind. Cerebral palsy? Why? Why Ayurveda? And how Ayurveda? I'll answer these questions in this presentation. Why cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy is a lifelong condition that disables the child. Unlike adult onset diseases like diabetes and hypertension, the cerebral palsy does not affect the child alone. It affects the whole family. 3. The presence of a child with cerebral palsy in a family will affect the family's physical, mental, emotional, and economic conditions to a great extent. 4. Even with the advancements of modern medical science, the incidence of cerebral palsy still remains the same. And 5. Cerebral palsy remains a great challenge to all the medical professionals in the world. That's why this topic is very relevant in this webinar. Before going to the next 2 questions, why Ayurveda and how Ayurveda, let us see about the basic information about cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a group of conditions caused by the damage to the child's brain, causing movement and posture difficulties. The insult or injury occurs during the development phase of the brain, emphasizing that injury affects the immature brain. Cerebral palsy typically involves movement and posture disorders which will result in inability or difficulty in standing, sitting, walking, feeding, swallowing, coordinating movements, balance, etc. And it is often accompanied by various conditions like epilepsy, mental retardation, visual and hearing impairments, etc. Stages of brain development. When we see the stages of brain development, it can be noted that the formation of basic structures of the nervous system starts as early as 3 to 4 weeks of pregnancy, and it is followed by the growth and migration of neurons around 5th month of intrauterine life. After that, the organization of neurons happen and the myelination starts after birth and continues to about 5 years of age. In such a complex phenomenon of brain development, the insult can happen at any time. Causes of cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is caused by a non-progressive injury to the developing brain. Non-progressive means that the damage to the brain is permanent and does not worsen, and this makes cerebral palsy a lifelong condition. Developing brain means that the damage can happen during any of the following periods. That is during the antenatal period, that is during pregnancy, during perinatal period, during the delivery of the baby, during postnatal period, that is after birth to 3 years of age. When we see the causes in detail, antenatal factors or the factors that affect the growth of the brain during intrauterine life contribute to about 70% of cerebral palsy cases. Intrauterine growth retardation, multiple gestation, intrauterine infections, maternal thyroid dysfunction, high blood pressure, protein leak in urine, seizure disorder in mother, congenital malformation in the baby are some of the antenatal factors. Perinatal factors are those events that happen around the birth of the baby that have the potential to cause damage to the immature brain. Delivery before the completion of term, difficult labor, respiratory distress during delivery, infections contracted during this time all contribute to about 10% of total cerebral palsy cases. After the birth of the baby, if there are factors like infections that affect the brain or its coverings, neonatal jaundice, in which high levels of bilirubin damages the brain, or any injury, then they can lead to cerebral palsy in the child. Based on the region of the brain that is affected and the severity of such damage, cerebral palsy may have different presentations in the children. Basically, there are four major types: spastic cerebral palsy, dyskinetic cerebral palsy, ataxic cerebral palsy, and mixed cerebral palsy. Spastic cerebral palsy is a type in which the brain cortex that controls muscle activity is affected and there is stiffness to the muscles due to increased tone. The stiffness or spasticity can be seen more in the lower limbs as in spastic diplegia. If one side of the body is affected as in stroke, it is called spastic hemiplegia, or if all the four limbs are affected, it is known as spastic quadriplegia. In dyskinetic cerebral palsy, the child will have involuntary movements or the movements that are outside of their control. They have twisting, dancing, wriggling types of movements that are unable to be controlled. Ataxic cerebral palsy children suffer from the lack of balance, coordination, and depth perception. They have trouble in walking, balancing, and have tremors and shaking, etc. Mixed type of cerebral palsy consists of features of two types of cerebral palsy. It is usually mixed with spastic and dyskinetic types. Features of cerebral palsy. Early detection of delay in milestones is a key factor for the diagnosis of cerebral palsy. Normally, a child will attain head control around 2 months of age, rolling over by 4 months of age, sitting by 6 months of age, and walking by 1 year, plus or minus 2 months. If there is any delay in these activities, it has to be considered as a red flag. Abnormal muscle stiffness can be perceived while handling the baby. This is due to the increased muscle tone, and sometimes there will be increased laxity or flexibility of the baby, which will be followed by stiffness by around 1 to 2 years of age. Babies usually use both hands equally. If the baby uses one hand for any activity, it should be noted that there is some difficulty in using the other hand, and this needs medical attention. Though cerebral palsy is a condition that affects movement and posture of the child, it is usually associated with many serious conditions like mental retardation, learning difficulties, epilepsy, blindness, squint, hearing problems, difficulties in speech and language, problems in feeding like swallowing difficulty, drooling, etc. Next, we have come to the second question: why Ayurveda? Many of the people are unaware that Ayurveda is a complete system of medicine, and there are many conditions that can be treated and managed very well with Ayurveda. Ayurveda has been wrongly publicized as a treatment system which has external therapy alone, and this has compromised the genuine principle of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a comprehensive system of medicine that helps in the promotion of health and in the treatment of diseases. Ayurveda can play a significant role in the management of various pediatric conditions like autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, respiratory conditions, skin conditions in children. Next, we shall see the Ayurvedic perspective of cerebral palsy in the following slides. The fundamental principles of Ayurveda are based on the interconnectivity of all matters with the universe, all single cells with the self, and all actions with their effects. Hence, Ayurveda advocates the maintenance of equilibrium of the internal life forces with the universal forces in the form of medicine, food, and lifestyle. According to Ayurveda, the human body is governed by three doshas, or the three vital forces or energies that are called as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata, energy for movement; Pitta, energy for transformation; and Kapha, the energy for cohesion. The condition of cerebral palsy, when seen through the prism of Ayurveda, stands out as a derangement of Vata energy. When Vata gets deranged in Sarva Anga, that is all parts of the body, which includes physical, sensory, and mental domains, it produces various symptoms like spasticity, involuntary movement, sensory impairments, joint contractions, etc. The Vata imbalance is associated with the imbalances in other energies also. The imbalance of Vata dominant doshas is the basic pathology of cerebral palsy. Next, we shall see the outline of Ayurvedic treatment principles. The Ayurvedic management of cerebral palsy will be based on the individual patient condition. It will be based on the nature of dosha imbalance, intensity and extent of other dosha involvement, the nature of the patient, and the duration of illness. And basically, Ayurvedic treatment will have three elements: internal medicines, external procedures, and more importantly, diet and exercises. It is very important to know the role of internal medicine in Ayurveda. As mentioned earlier, the energy imbalances within the body have to be corrected with the energies from outside the body. And herbs and medicines are the most important energy balancing agents from the environment. They correct the Agni or the biothermal factor and the energy imbalances and bring about their equilibrium within the body. There are certain Ayurvedic drugs like Brahmi and Ashwagandha which have action on the nervous system. The external Ayurvedic treatments for cerebral palsy will have the following therapies: Snehana or oleation, Swedana or fermentation, Bastikarma or medicated enema procedures, Upanaha, that is poultices, Nasyam, nasal medication, Shirotelam, oil-based treatments for head. Let us see each of them in brief. Snehana. Oleation is the procedure of subjecting the body of the patient to oil application. It is done in the form of abhyanga or oil massage. Swedanam or fermentation is done in many forms. The common procedures used in cerebral palsy are Navarakiri or Shastikashali Pinda Sweda, where fermentation is done with a special type of rice boiled in milk, and Kaya Sekam, pouring warm oil all over the body. Vastikarma is the most important Panchakarma treatment done in cerebral palsy. Matra Vasti is a special form of medicated enema administered to the children. Upanaha is very effective in reducing the spasticity of muscles in cerebral palsy. Warm paste of medicines is applied over the limbs and it is wrapped with a cotton cloth for a stipulated period of time and it is removed after that. Oil-based treatments specifically for head region play a major role in the Ayurvedic management of cerebral palsy. They are done in different procedures: Shiropichu, Shirodhara, or the more important procedures. Many research works have been carried out to study the effect of Ayurvedic treatments in the management of cerebral palsy. One of the study found that Abhyangam and Shiropichu treatments were effective in achieving the head control and other motor milestones by cerebral palsy children. The management of cerebral palsy requires a multidisciplinary approach. It requires medical and surgical management of certain conditions associated with cerebral palsy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, special education, speech and language therapy, among many. Early intervention is the key to the successful management of cerebral palsy, as it is effective to influence the developing brain rather than the developed mature brain. Incorporating Ayurveda in the management of cerebral palsy will certainly improve the outcome and the quality of life of these children. And this is the answer for the third question, how Ayurveda can be a part of the rehabilitation management of cerebral palsy. Thank you. Hope you found the presentation informative and helpful. We will move on to the next session, which is the poster presentation. These posters have been designed on various basic concepts of Ayurveda. First, I call upon Dr. Ganesh Kumar Ramalu, BAMS, for his poster presentation. Dr. Ganesh Kumar completed his studies in physiotherapy before starting his Ayurvedic journey in India, pursuing BAMS. Having special interest in Ayurveda's approach towards healthy living and the treatment of chronic illnesses, Vaidya Ganesh Kumar has been practicing in the private sector, managing and treating musculoskeletal conditions, skin diseases, and digestive disorders. We welcome you, Doctor.
Thank you, ma'am.
So there is a poster. Share.
So I would like to have my greatest respect to India to have me being what I am today, because being an Ayush scholar and graduated from there, so I'm really proud to present today. So my greatest respect to the Excellency and my ex-director, Dr. Go, and my ex-colleagues from the government. Okay, so a special thanks to Dr. Arini for working out today. So, and my senior colleagues who presented today. So today I'm not going to talk anything about disease or nothing, but the very fundamental aspects of Ayurveda. Okay, the most important thing in Ayurveda, what they taught us, the elements, doshas, which is mean here, which doshas is being dominant by which elements. So the basic science over here is how we define what is Prakriti. Prakriti can be directly translated into English by saying body constitution. Okay, body constitution, as we know, is divided into physical and physiological. Okay, the most important thing I've really looked into and Ayurveda look into, Prakriti being physical, that's totally what we can see. But physiological is the most important aspect where the disease lies in. Okay, the aggravation of the disease and the aggravation of everything. So over here we have Ayurveda has divided it into 7 different main prakritis, main body constitution, where we can narrow down the aspects of certain diseases which can occur for each individual. Let's say now a person who being obese, okay, he tend to have certain joint issues, with certain metabolism issues. That's how Ayurveda has narrowed down each disease for everyone. Okay, so the next thing we are talking here about the elements which is involved here. Each elements of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Vat, and all this has given a very clear cut how a Prakriti will be when we are talking about disbalanced of any dosha, how it works, everything. Ayurveda has explained this in a very nice way, where when we bring it to a very modern era, to a layman's understanding, when a person which is dominated with Vata, how is movement, the thinking, the disbalance of Vata, what will be the features, everything has been explained. So the very unique part of Ayurveda over here, the identification of each diseases by the first look, first assessment has been given from few thousand years back regarding all this Prakriti. So the next slide, coming back to the food. So food, as we know, being in Malaysia, we have too much of nice food where we enjoy eating and eating and eating and forgetting about health. So Ayurveda has divided our main food into 6 different ras, which is promoting our health. 6 ras here is developed based on starting from Madhuras, all these ras. So this ras has been having a very important aspect on the digestive factor, right? So what here I'm trying to say is, we all tend to think about the science and everything, but when it comes to a real food, whenever we eat something which is not really compatible with us, we feel bloated, we feel indigested. So this is the starting part of the disease. Okay, when we talk about formation of the disease and everything. So to do this, Ayurveda has perfectly state to have food before previous food is digested. We have to make sure the food is digested properly, having a proper food, proper maduras, and make sure it's warm, and always to have a very good mindset of eating it. But today we don't do apply all this. So the most important thing is the Ayurveda concept of guide to eat. It's been stated in so many ways in Ayurveda, right? So that's my point over here today. Thank you, Dr. Arani. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Ganesh Kumar, for your very informative posters. Next, I welcome Dr. Vidya Manoharan, BAMS, for her presentation. Dr. Vidya Manoharan completed her bachelor's course in Ayurveda and Surgery from Rajiv Gandhi University, Bangalore, India, and she is practicing Ayurveda in Malaysia since 2017. She has expertise in Panchakarma treatments, Kerala Ayurveda treatments, physiotherapy, and therapeutic body type yoga. She is the Director of Traditional and Complementary Medicine at Maju Healthcare. Dr. Vidya has established the wellness center Istana Ayur, where she assists people to find solutions to their health problems. Dear doctor, please join us.
Good evening, Dr. Harini.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Next one, 10.1.
Am I audible? Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you all today. A big thank you to the High Commissioner of India, Director of Ayush, and Dr. Harini for having considered me to be a part of today's celebration. So I have chosen two topics here. With regard to COVID-19 and celebrating Ayurveda Day and basic principles of Ayurveda. So why I have chosen these two topics are they're basically Dinacharya and Dosha Kala. So when we look at Dinacharya, they are basically Ayurveda's way of telling us, giving us a daily regimen on how to go about our daily routines. When not done in a proper manner can lead to diseases in future if practiced improperly for a longer period of time. Starting from waking up, where they talk about waking up in a time where it is Brahma Muhurta or at least 45 minutes before the sunrise. Waking up in the morning gives us ample amount of time to plan our day, to make sure that our Agni or our digestion is proper throughout the day. So that because Ayurveda talks about Agni being a very important factor in maintaining good health, in maintaining immunity, in maintaining a good metabolism. So therefore, waking up early in the morning, and it talks about simple things like tooth cleansing. Now, keeping in mind that this is something which was spoken about 5,000 years ago, I think we have to appreciate our ancient sages for having thought about these things, basic things to help us maintain a good health. So they talk about tooth cleansing, where thereby using herbal twigs such as neem, etc., to help improve our Agni, to help keep our teeth and our gums strong, thereby preventing certain mouth-related diseases. They also talk about applying collyrium, or they call it Anjana in Ayurveda, which helps us to keep the eyes in a good condition. Also talk about nasal drops and oil pulling, which helps enhance the oral and nasal immunity. Certain issues nowadays occur, like allergy to dust, allergy to pollen. So simple things like applying nasal drops to the nose prevent this overall. Some people have dry passages in the nose and the sinuses, leading to other disorders. So simple application of maybe ghee or sesame oil, which is readily available at home, can be done to prevent respiratory. Next would be oil massages. Well, oil massages, as we all know, okay, one, it is definitely relaxing, but why have they mentioned this is basically to nourish the muscles, to keep the muscles healthy, to enhance the blood circulation, to keep the bones strong. They have mentioned use of oil massages with various different types of oils. Physical exercises, yes, definitely physical exercises, best done in the mornings. It can be physical like yoga, or it can be more involving breathing techniques. So they help tone the body and improve metabolism also. Ayurveda talks about the powder scrub also. So that also definitely detoxifies the skin and helps improve the blood circulation, depending on various herbs which are used. They have also mentioned things like bathing. So now there is a trend where people, get up, sleep late, get up just in time to get ready and go to work, not having enough time to bathe, where they come back and they have a late night bath, which over the long run tends to put people in unhealthy situations. So they've spoken about the fact that you have to bathe in the morning, whereby it refreshes the body and mind. Sadvrata is a very interesting concept explained in this chapter in Ashtanga Hridaya, where they talk about righteous conduct. Definitely righteous conduct, they talk about who you should mingle with, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But there are certain points where they have mentioned, like, you shouldn't yawn or sneeze in public. You should not eat from an unclean plate. You should not wear the same clothes before and after bathing. So which is what people have been telling nowadays, that as soon as you come back home, put your clothes for wash, go have a shower, come out. So these kind of things have been spoken about way beyond time by our acharyas, which we have tend to forgot over time. So this is to do with dinacharya. The next I would be talking about is dosha kala. Okay, so importance of dosha kala is definitely, as our colleagues have also explained, the three different types of doshas: vata, pitta, and kapha. So when we look at the biological clock, or they call it a functional biorhythm, we have a prominent, these three doshas are prominent at different times of during the day. So why is it important to know this is there are certain regimes that needs to be followed in this particular time. Say, for example, in a vata predominant time, which is usually in the mornings, it's better to meditate or do yoga, pranayama, and do things like planning out your day, problem solving, they have mentioned, and even indulging in creative conversations. So this is better done in the morning. When they talk about pitta kala, pitta kala is a time where the agni is very dominant, or the digestion is very dominant. So they have mentioned it is the best time to digest your food. It is the best time to study. It is the best time to do some critical thinking, to do some organizing. So this is the best time to do all these things. When we look into the kapha kala, we look into slowing down, or reading some relaxing books, or listening to some music, or engaging in good conversations with people at home, sleeping. And definitely when we look at the clock, kapha kala in the morning, it is the best time to help eliminate all the toxins from the body. So why is it a concept which is explained by Ayurveda? Is because if supposing these regimen are done in time, say like like an excretion is done in a pitta kala, or eating is done or digestion is done in a kapha kala, whereby the agni is not dominant. So therefore, there arises diseases. There arises an issue with your immunity. There arises ill health. So this is put forth by Ayurveda to say, see, these are the times to do the things accordingly. So don't do unnecessary things in these times. So it is important to know these things for practitioners per se, so as to administer medications, or administer certain treatments, or even help with the diagnosis. So I hope I have done justice to these two topics. If there have been any mistakes, as one of our senior speakers have mentioned, do not blame Ayurveda, blame me if I have said anything wrong. Thank you, Dr. Harni. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Vidya, for your wonderful presentation on the fundamental principles of Ayurveda. The following presentation is an awareness video about the Ayurveda services that are available in the Malaysian government hospitals. Meanwhile, I request the audience to key in their questions in the chat box for the interactive session.
Hello everyone. Do you know that Malaysian government is providing Ayurvedic services in government hospitals? I'm sure many of you may not be aware. Come,
Show me the
let's
chat
have a
box.
quick look.
Fantastic.
Ayurvedic services were introduced in the year 2011 in the traditional and complementary medicine unit of Hospital
Chat box
Portixon.
irka questions sir.
At that time, Shirodhara, which is one of the most popular Ayurveda treatments, was introduced in Port Dickson Hospital. Later, this service was introduced at the traditional and complementary medicine unit of Hospital Rehabilitation Cheras in the year 2014. And in the year 2015, 3 new Ayurveda procedures were introduced. Come, let's see about these services. There are 4 procedure-based Ayurveda treatments that are offered in the traditional and complementary units of Hospital Port Dickson and Hospital Cheras. They are Shirodhara, Kadibasti, Griva Basti, and Janu Basti. Let us explore each of them in detail. The following conditions are very well managed with Shirodhara: insomnia, mental stress and fatigue, depression and anxiety, tension headaches and migraine headache. Kadibasti, or the lubricating treatment for the back, is done in the conditions like low back pain, which is usually associated with the stiffness and radiating pain to the legs, lumbar spondylosis, where there is a degeneration of bones in the back region, and in prolapse of intervertebral disc. Griva Basti is another special Ayurvedic treatment and is very effective for pain and stiffness in the neck and also for the degeneration of vertebral bones in the neck region. Janu Basti is one of the main treatments to manage knee joint pain that is associated with stiffness and is generally seen in aged people due to the degeneration of bones. This treatment has proven to be very beneficial to the patient. Well, how to avail these Ayurvedic treatments? Just follow these simple steps. The patient has to get the referral letter from a registered Western medical practitioner, either from the government hospital or the private clinics, and then contact the traditional and complementary medicine units of the above hospitals. The Ayurveda physician in the TCM unit will consult the patient and prescribe the treatment according to his condition. The physician will also advise about the diet and activities during the treatment. After that, the patient can fix up the appointment for the therapy and avail the treatment. The above Ayurveda treatments are offered free of cost to the government staffs and their dependent family members, government pensioners and their spouses, differently abled persons. People other than them can avail the Ayurveda consultation free of charge, and the treatments will be charged 50 ringgit per procedure. For further information, please contact the Traditional and Complementary Medicine Unit of Hospital Port Dickson or Hospital Rehabilitation Cheras. Ayurveda is all about the healthy lifestyle practices and holistic treatment. A life brimming with health and cheer That is what Ayurveda could offer to you if you are ready for the change. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let us see a few questions. Okay, there is one question for Dr. Sibi. I request the doctors to give concise answers. Dr. Sibi, this is the question for you. How is autoimmunity considered in Ayurveda? Autoimmune disorders.
Thank you for that. Autoimmune disease is basically a condition which is not something which is fully acceptable in Ayurveda, because we believe our own immune system will not fight against us. It's a total concept of modern system. But still, we would consider, or maybe we can almost connect to the unhealthy, or we can say the free radicals theory, or the unwanted toxins in the body, which fights against us. So it's just the toxins which is developed in the body because of unhealthy food habits or maybe unhealthy lifestyles. And that can maybe by working against you and create a disease, or maybe interfere in the normal functioning of the body. So like psoriasis or cerebral, this rheumatoid arthritis, or even progressive diseases of diseases which is affecting the central nervous systems of the body, or immune system, which is, there are many diseases like myasthenia, there are many diseases which is explained there. But as far as autoimmune, the word is concerned, it is not something which is there in Ayurveda. But we can almost familiarize some of the diseases which is connected to unhealthy toxins developed due to unhealthy metabolism. Thank you, Dharani.
Thank you, Dr. Sibi. The next question would be to Dr. Radhakrishnan. Dr. Radhakrishnan?
Yes.
Doctor, one of the audience is asking, what does Ayurveda say about regular use of rice and milk?
Yeah, actually, Ayurveda explains Ayurveda is not against any food. Always look into your type of body and whether your system can digest properly the food you are taking. That's the only thing Ayurveda is telling. If you are so used to rice, it is not giving you any problems, it is not giving you any imbalances, then you may please use accordingly. It is always the food need to be taken and see what is happening in the body. You are the best person to judge what is happening in your body. Ayurveda has some theories, or physician can guide you. This is X, this is Y, this is Z. But at the end of the day, your guidance from your brain, what is happening in your body, need to be the ultimate thing to be analyzed. So having rice, there is absolutely no problem, but depending on how your body manages rice. Okay, hope I explained.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Next question would be to Dr. Devarajan. It is one of the audience who have asked how to avoid pesticides present in the vegetables. You are not audible, sir?
Yes. That was a very good question. In fact, thank you for asking this question, because I missed this point while explaining preventive aspect of these herbs in gastrointestinal cancers. See, we have to live with these pesticides presence in food. So how we can prevent it? There are two herbs. They have, I mentioned, they have direct action on poisons in our body. They prevent it from, see, we have to minimize it or neutralize it in our body, or we have to prevent it from absorbing to our body and then help it to excrete it our body. That is the only way we can get protection from these pesticides, because we are consumer people. We don't cultivate, we don't have any control of cultivation. So what we can do is help our body to prevent it absorbing, or help our body to excrete it from our body completely. The two herbs, one is turmeric. Turmeric is very, we since many thousands of years, we know turmeric can neutralize poisons. So when we add turmeric to our food, we are literally neutralizing many of the poisons. And another herb I mentioned is pepper. One of the active ingredients in pepper, pipermine, is it can help, it can detect some of the poisons, both organic and inorganic poisons, and alert our excretory system, or alert the liver to mark it, to clear it from, to make it clear it from our excretory system. So all other herbs also have more or less, action on clearing the toxins from our body. So collectively, individually or collectively, these herbs work together and help our body to clear the toxins from our body. Our role is to help our body function properly. Make sure basic functions are correct in our body: appetite, digestion, absorption, and bowel movements. So when there is absorption, I mentioned it, we have to make sure the nutrients are completely absorbed to our body, and toxins or pesticides or chemicals are not absorbed to our body. So by including these two, mainly these two herbs, pepper, black pepper, and turmeric, we are achieving this. That is the difference between, that is the advantage of black pepper over red chili. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Dr. Devarajan. Next question is to Dr. Suresh Kumar. How to handle work stress? Dr. Suresh?
Yeah. That's a very good question. To manage work stress, the best method is to live in a mindfulness situation. Try to develop a mindful atmosphere. That means, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is about experiencing the world that is firmly in the here and now, paying full attention what is going on within you and your immediate surroundings moment by moment. The work can be divided into, you see a general worker, a grass cutter, what they will do. That's also reputed work. At the same time, in the case of civil servants, from the clerical job to the director, that means what kind of work we are involving. Sometimes only one nature of work is only one. Sometimes different types of work. When performing different types of work, remember that at one time we can do only one work. Even though multitask there, we have to really understand and establish that kind of one mindset to work in that atmosphere. That means we have to practice that kind of people. They have to practice mindfulness type of techniques. Those who mindfulness is from the, in the case of mindfulness is a mental function like concentration. Mindfulness is shraddha. Concentration is ekagrita. Ekagrita is the pointedness of mind. Mindfulness is paying full attention what is going on within you and your immediate surroundings moment by moment. The answer is the person has to develop and establish physically, physiologically, and mentally a mindfulness situation to handle the work stress. Okay? Has to go for the training, mindfulness training. Needed.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Suresh Kumar. My next question is to Dr. Ganesh Kumar. Is he available? Dr. Ganesh? Okay, we have another question for Dr. Vidya from Ms. Nagini. So, how to manage manic or any kinds of anxiety disorders? Dr. Vidya?
Okay.
Are you there?
Am I audible, doctor?
Yeah. How to manage manic or any kinds of anxiety disorders?
Okay, and let me go back to what I was talking about. Manic or anxiety disorders, mainly imbalances of the three doshas. At least start to follow the dosha kala. Try to do things accordingly and start to follow certain dinacharyas. Definitely look into things like yoga, pranayama, and meditation. And basically mental cleansing. Sadhrita is very important. So there are certain points in Sadhrita which I would request Miss Nagini to go through, which would help.
Thank you, Dr. Vidya. Is Dr. Ganesh Kumar there? Okay, I think that was for Dr. Ganesh Kumar. Okay. So I think it's time to wind up the session. So let's go to the final part of the event, which is vote of thanks. Coming together is friendship, working together is cooperation, and growing together is prosperity. What we are seeing today here is the union of two nations with a diaspora, diverse diaspora. Like many other factors shared by the people of Malaysia and India, Ayurveda is a special factor that has enhanced and enriched the human bond between these two great nations. Now it is time to express our gratitude towards each and everyone who have made this event a resounding success. It is with deepest sincerity that we express our heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency Sri Mridul Kumarji, the High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, on this occasion for his kind gesture to participate and to extend a warm welcome for everyone to this event. He has always extended his guidance and support to all the Ayush-related activities in Malaysia. We convey our sincere thanks to Madam Dr. Go Cheng Soon, the Director of Traditional and Complementary Medicine Division of Ministry of Health Malaysia, for introducing the webinar and the poster presentation events to the audience, and also for the steps taken to promote and popularize Ayurveda in Malaysia. We thank the eminent physicians of Ayurveda in Malaysia, Dr. C.D. Sibi, Chief Ayurvedic Physician, Ayur Center, Dr. V. Suresh Kumar, Senior Lecturer in Health and Wellness, Taylor's University, Dr. C. Radhakrishnan, Senior Ayurvedic Physician, Kerala Ayur Wellness Center, Dr. M. Devarajan, Chief Ayurveda Physician, Anurag Ayurveda, Dr. Ganesh Kumar Ramulu, Ayurveda Consultant, Sankhya Natural Healthcare Center, Dr. M. Vidya, Ayurveda Physician, Istana Ayur, for taking their time out of their busy schedule to present interesting topics in Ayurveda and sharing their knowledge and experience to make this day a valuable one for all. It is our duty and pleasure to thank Sri Nishit Kumar Ujjwal, Councillor, and Sri Devendra Singh, Second Secretary in charge of Ayush, High Commission of India, for taking proactive steps in all matters related to Ayurveda. In particular, the effort and encouragement they offered to make this celebration a grand success. We thank all the members of Community Affairs, Education and Labour Wing of the Indian High Commission, Mr. Prateek from IT Health Department, for the successful organization of this webinar. And finally, we express our most sincere gratitude and happiness to the distinguished audience who are present here, who, despite their busy schedule, decided to participate in this event and become ambassadors of Ayurveda and health for their friends and family. They say that the reward for a work well done is the opportunity to do more. We do hope to have many more events like this in the future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.